Hello Virgos, this is Molly with Soul School Tarot and Astrology, and I'm here with you guys today for an August 2020 general reading. I'm trying to figure out which deck of cards I'm feeling to start your reading off with. So while I shuffle this up, I'll just go over a few quick announcements. We are switching things up here. Yes, I talk about myself in the third person. That's kind of weird, but we are going to be focusing on August general readings, and then I will have my paired love and prosperity readings for you guys as well in place of the full moon and new moon readings. I do have a full moon astro forecast out there, and I'm going to have a new moon one out for you too. For those of you guys who do moon magic, I'm going to make sure I get those out there for you at least a couple days ahead of time. So just in case that helps with, you know, your manifestation. But also that kind of breaks down what's going on in the sky 2 weeks at a time. For my general love and prosperity readings, I will have extended readings available. So if this resonates with you, or if any of you guys want to watch your sun, moon, and rising sign, if any of these resonate with you, check out the description box for a link to my Vimeo on demand, where you can purchase or rent the extended readings. All right. I'm so glad to have you guys here today. What else was I going to talk about? I don't know. Did I say happy birthday? Happy birthday to my late August Virgos. The sun moves into Virgo on the 22nd. So I hope you guys have a good one. There's definitely a lot of just really weird energy. I don't know. I want to talk to you guys specifically about a state of liminality. Oh my gosh. That's this thing that's been coming up in a lot of readings, but also just synchronicities that are going on in my life right now. But I think a lot of people are feeling it right now, specifically people who are kind of like tuned into a spiritual realm, right? And liminality is a word that just describes like the state between two other states. All right, so let's say there's black and white, and then there's all these weird shades of gray where you're not really black and you're not really white, right? It's a state of liminality. So another way of describing that is like when you are kind of like half awake. That's a state of liminality. Think of how much potential there is in that state. Okay, so that is the message that I've been sending about just things feel weird right now. The whole universe feels really weird. We are in a state of liminality. So, because we know that the old is gone. Am I correct? And I think that's something that Virgos have been struggling with. Because Virgos, now here's the reason why. I'm going to go ahead and get into this. Virgos, and I'm scribbling because it helps the words come out. All right. They are very hard workers. And what happens is Virgos are very good at shaping their environment. Okay? Or at least shaping themselves and their lives, their patterns, their habits, to be very efficient and successful in whatever environment that they're in, right? And they're very observant. So they can show up on the scene and just kind of like know how things work, right? And so they work hard to get things efficient. Okay. I have a ton of Virgo in my chart. So it's reminding me of, you know, just certain jobs that you have, and you get in there and you're like, oh my God, this thing is a mess. Nothing's really organized. So it's basically all the work that you would do to, like, you know, organize a file cabinet or a database or something like that, just so that it can run more efficiently. Right? So a lot of Virgos had already put a lot of work into making sure that their world ran efficiently before the world went into quarantine, and especially here in America, kind of into chaos. So there's this big question of what is next. And it's almost as if you're waiting for the new environment to take shape so that you can respond to it. And the message that I'm getting is, no, you are building the new environment. Okay? So major magician energy. Major magician energy. Magician, by the way, is Mercury, the planet that rules you. All right. So let's kind of right here, I've got the Hidden Wisdom of Hidden Realms Oracle. And I just want to get out a couple cards to see what you guys are going through. I know that. I know that. I know that. I know that. I feel that. Let's get one more. Where else did that come up? Okay, yeah, I'm going to take that one too, but not the ones under it. All right, we have 4 cards out actually, and I love this picture. It is very, very similar to the story that I was telling to Taurus. Ooh, I'm going to take a peek at that. And this card actually came up in Taurus's reading as well, the prison wave. All right. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Actually, it came out first. So this is where we're starting. All right. So the prison wave. This is, it says on here, poverty consciousness. And I feel like, again, something has thrown, even if it's not due to COVID and the economy and everything else that's going on in the world, something has really thrown you out of a comfort zone. A zone where you felt like in your element. And now all of a sudden you're like thrown out of your element and feeling like you're not really prepared or equipped or well trained. Pardon me. And you're, I don't want to say. If it's a Taurus reading, I'll be like, and you're pouting about it, because I'm a Taurus and I'll call myself out for pouting. But this person's kind of pouting. Okay? Virgos are like, they're very hard workers and very, very successful because of it. Often, that's the case with Virgos. But then when they're thrown out of their element like that, out of their structure, you know, it's almost as if their confidence comes from the predictability of their environment. And so when the environment becomes unpredictable, there's this like, it's a little bit of like pouting. Now I got to go do the work again. Okay. But the work that's asking to be done, like whatever is going on in your life, whatever sort of, it's a state of liminality. This is state of liminality because you're not quite yet you're not in the new world, but you're not even your new self yet. You know that it's coming because you really want to hold on to a lot of your old self. The River Queen came up here, and this is about flow, letting go, natural movement. It is also a 36. 3 plus 6 equals 9, and that is a number of personal fulfillment. Okay? And closing out cycles, like getting ready to close things out. It's the internal end of a cycle that comes before the external. So it's when you make the decision that this is the way it's going to go. All right. And also she's a mermaid. And that's really beautiful. Okay. But for now, you're in this state where I feel like you've been completely thrown out of your comfort zone. And what you're being asked to step into is probably kind of intimidating. It's probably a lot deeper than anything that you have gotten yourself into. I don't know how else to say it. It's the well watcher, you guys. This well watcher is not trying to keep you away from the well. This is actually an invitation to the well. See how it's gated? Like you have been, oh my God, that veil and the liminality. A liminal state results in like a very, very, like a thinning of the veil. You guys, if you, like I said, if you're an empath, intuitive, psychic, light worker, anything like that, you know what I mean. That the veil is very thin, and it is a place of very powerful manifestation. Pardon me, my allergies. So you're being invited in, and to me this 7 is a card of like pause and assessment. You're not really sure if you're ready to go that deep. Okay, the well watcher says wisdom, the power of the divine. There is an owl. I don't know why I didn't notice that. An owl on her shoulder, which to me is ancestor or like very, very, very strong spirit energy. Very strong, like ancestral. Like some of you guys, this is a realization. If you believe in past lives, this is a realization that in your past lives or in your ancestral line, there's a lot more power and magic than you ever realized. And you've been thrown out of this. Okay, how do I describe that? Okay, thank you. I knew there was a reason why she wanted me to leave her there. And do you see how it's literally has the word Wonderland, the wise woman of Wonderland? And this whole scene, because that was the exact, right before my eyes went over there, that was the exact thought that I had. It's like Alice in Wonderland, because at the beginning of Alice in Wonderland, what is she doing? She's sitting in a tree and she's studying. And it takes place in, I'm going to say, a very like late Victorian era where, you know, education, very like rigid, proper, structured education is what's going on. Like she's literally like reciting things out of a book, right? It's very like rigid and logical and well explained. And then she goes down the rabbit hole and it's like, that's a different world. And she's really, really kind of like panicking in that world, right? Because as much as it's like magical and it's wonderful and it's beautiful and it's very, very compelling, it's also quite a lot. It's very, very different. It's not the kind of world where she knows exactly what to expect. That is the energy that I feel is trying to come across for you guys right now. I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the thing. This state of liminality, once you get, if you accept this invitation to the well, so to speak, right? Because it's not like, boom, we're throwing you in a well. It's like, hey, do you want to, like, this is a gated community, but we're sending you an invitation. And when I say we, it's like, it's your higher self, essentially, is what's going on, okay? So there is definitely a sense of like, I don't know, is this, do I want to be the river queen and just kind of like go with the flow? Because the flow seems really, really powerful. I don't know how deep that well is. I don't know what's down there. I don't know what kind of creatures there are in the well, right? Is there a troll in the well? I don't know anything about this well, right? But it's very, very compelling. Just the way that she's staring with her eyes, you know it's compelling. All right. And this River Queen has a double meaning. It's almost this fear of you becoming submerged in this watery energy. Now, let me talk about what watery energy is, because we got a whole bunch of planets in Cancer. Well, let me clarify. We have one planet, Venus, is in Cancer. Watery energy is, especially in the tarot, it's emotions, but also intuition, dreams, your psychic space, right? So I feel like some of you guys are literally like, oh my God, I think I might be psychic. That's kind of weird. Y'all, do you want to know the way I reacted the first time? Like I straight up like mediated a conversation between a living and a dead person. It's but it's real, right? Like, believe in it. I think you guys are, if that's what you're going through. But it's something, take it as it resonates. That could be a metaphor for whatever it is that's being offered to you. It's really deep and it's really profound. And you're like, I don't really know if I can survive, if I can thrive in that environment. But what is literally in the cards and the message that's coming through is once you get into that environment, like usual, Virgo, you can get a read of your environment and a read of what that energy feels like, and to be able to channel it in a very, very powerful and very, very efficient way. And that comes out in the Ultra Priestess. I love this. 3 plus 9. Oh my God, you guys, don't laugh at me right now. That's 12. And 1 plus 2 is 3. So the potential for growth. Look at this star she's creating. And she's got all these candles. There's like a lotus. There's something that looks kind of like a little wreath. So there's definitely a mix of like Eastern, Western, like whatever philosophy you use. This is about somebody really truly stepping into their spirituality in a very empowering way. Becoming empowered in this like really, really tremendous way. Like you, and for some of you guys, it's not about like your psychic abilities or spirituality. It's about it's a very deep emotion. A situation that's very, very, very compelling, but a little bit overwhelming because it's a little deeper than what you're used to. And you don't want to be submerged in all of that water, all of that emotion. You don't want it to carry you away. You want to maintain, you want to be in charge of that energy and be able to move yourself through whatever environment you find yourself in. This Ultra Priestess is saying, yes, that is exactly what's going to happen when you show up on the scene. I love that. And I also knew before I even started that the Game of Thrones deck wanted to be used for you guys. So let me get a couple shuffles on and we'll see what she's got to say. Please, 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 if this resonates with you, do feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe. And then, of course, at the end, if you are so inclined, you can follow me over to Vimeo for the second half of this reading. But these cards I'm getting on the table right now are really going to be looking at, though I always say timelines are fluid, right? So I'm talking about a progression of energies. It's not, if it is not yours, check out your sun, moon, and rising signs, okay? So definitely don't ever force a reading. But if it feels like your energy, and I'm talking about the past, but it's really your present, just like understand, like we're all in our own timelines. And also relationship roles can be reversed, if that's a thing that comes up. Pardon me, please. Oh, I ran out of my allergy meds, like... in Kansas in the middle of July. I don't know why I wanted to pause on this. I think there is definitely, for some of you guys, that's what this is. It's an offer of love, or it's just you found yourself catching feelings about something that you didn't mean to, and you're like, oh, do I want to go for this or not go for this? Because I'm not trying to be, like I said, brought under by this. Powerful energy. Okay. But this, it just brought me back. See how she's kind of like pouting, kind of mad? Because the thing is, if you say no to this, you're going to be mad at yourself. I know. It sucks. And that 31, 3 plus 1 is a 4. And 4 is just kind of like staying in space. You guys, this was on the bottom of the deck when we started, and it's still on the bottom of the deck. This is a new spark, a new energy, something very, very exciting that calls to you in the distance. And you've even, damn. These two came up together in what reading? Taurus, maybe? And that's why I ignored this card when I picked up this one and found it underneath, but then I shuffled and it's still there. Oh, that one was there too. Let's talk about it. Yep, you want to come out of that. Ooh, you are so ready to come out of that. You know you are. I want to stop. Okay. All right, here's a story. Here is a story. And it matches up with this entirely, okay? If you really stop and think about it, you know you've been missing out on this. You've been secretly wanting this and asking the universe for it. And here comes this opportunity and you're like, no, 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 I don't want to. Because it's like, it feels bigger than you thought it would be. All right? It feels bigger than you thought it would be. But this is sometimes in my readings, it's just claircognizance. I'm just telling a story. This is a very clairsentient reading, and Taurus was as well. What that means to me is I'm feeling the emotions. I'm feeling what this feels like. Yeah, it's an emptiness. It's you know, it's a void. You know, there's this certain void. Don't act. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be bossy. The feeling that I'm getting right now, if this is resonating with you, Virgo, don't act like you have not been manifesting true love or something more deeply emotionally fulfilling than you've had in a very, very, very long time. And again, it could be emotions. It could be that you are living in a state where you keep your intuition blocked off. Now that these cards are on the table, I'm feeling a lot more like it's love. Or some sort of emotional fulfillment. All right? So this is an opportunity for victory. Okay? Here it's, do you see how, like, okay, here's the part that I was going to talk about. He's got a shield and a helmet, right? But he's not wearing it. He's willing to make himself vulnerable to get a better look at this majestic structure off in the background. And notice how it's walled in right now. I love it because these are the same cards, but they're just showing me a different story visually. And this is this vision of riding up to that city and getting in there and be able to like check out, like go take that pyramid. Okay. And the white horse to me, actually, wow. Horses came up earlier and meant something very different to me. Right now, this white horse is riding into town knowing that you're doing the right thing. With honor and dignity and pride. But also, be careful not to throw that shield back up, right? Because there he is. See that? Helmet on, shield on. Okay? It's okay to keep your guard up as at a distance, but what this is saying is like in order for you to get a feeling of what this is really like, you can't figure that out from back here, right? Like you gotta get up in there. You have to accept the invitation. Do you see that wall and this gate? For some of you guys, if this is a relationship, you know that the offer that the opportunity in front of you is not one that's extended to very many people at all. Okay? But it's almost like these bars. The fact that this thing is so well guarded adds to the victory that comes from achieving it or attaining it. Because not everybody gets to just roll up and take the city, right? But it is going to require you. God, this came up in Taurus too. It's the same relationship between these two cards. You have to let yourself out of this state of self-pity or self-doubt or fear. Right? Because this is an actual prison. And then you got this guy who keeps people in his dungeon. Like that's where he's at. He's in his dungeon. Who's keeping you in the dungeon, Virgo? It's you. You got to let yourself out. Because you know. I don't even want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it because I feel it, you guys. I'm going to do it anyway. Oh, it's this empty heart. It's this empty heart. Look, first of all, as far as Ace of Cups go, look at that. That is a majestic well. Look at that. It's so beautiful. I just love this picture. And I love this, just the artwork in this deck is so captivating. But look at how empowering that is. It's beautiful, it's rare, but it's not a dainty little cup, right? This is Ultra Priestess energy. Like somebody who can wield this, like it's not just for sipping wine. Where's the back of the card? It's not just for sipping wine. This is a very powerful emotion that you know is lacking from your life. Okay? And you want to move out of that energy. 26 minutes. Oh my God, you guys. I have to wrap this up because I literally am going to run out of battery and I still have to do my other reading. Okay? You want to come out of this. You want to come out of this. You might have to issue an apology, but you're definitely going to have to stop doing this. This is self-sabotage. Oh, really? Because that's what the Five of Swords is, self-sabotage. This feeling of defeat. You've got to get over that. You can't feel that way. You've got to come out of this tremendous sense of lack. Okay? You have to grasp the sword. Let me make out what that means. It's saying yes. An invitation has been extended to you. And if that is the life you want to live, literally, all you have to do is energetically and maybe out loud to somebody else, just say yes. Break a silence. But both of these, Five of Pentacles and Five of Swords, that's poverty consciousness and self-sabotage. All you have to do to get out of here is just say yes to what's being offered to you. Okay, you guys? Oh my Lord. I'm going to go ahead and dig into this a little further. We're going to get probably at least another 20 minutes, 15, 17, 20 minutes out of this over on Vimeo. Okay? Join me there. Otherwise, I think you know what to do, loves. I think you know what to do. All right, Virgos? Take